3, 2, 1.
Was starting to look for something to do, whether going to a gym, and I said, I've never been to a gym before, lifting weights or whatever. I would have no idea what I'm doing. And after, taking class, whether it's you, Scott, like you said, or anyone else that knows what they're doing, you're doing it correctly and you're not going to hurt yourself. And for me, it was, what am I going to do? I couldn't figure it out, going back and forth. And, I took your class. You gave me the three free classes to see if I liked it. And I did like it because it's instructional, it's structured, it makes you do it right.
Now, I have to say this, but I don't know if you necessarily liked your first class because if my memory serves me properly, I think you had to let go of your breakfast at the first class.
Yeah, I was kind of nervous. Yeah, it is very nervous and intimidating when you first go. But I knew I'd get over it. So that's why I came back for the second and third class and signed up. And yeah, after a few months, I had butterflies in my stomach doing it. Am I going to do it? Am I embarrassing myself? But after meeting everybody, nope, I can embarrass myself and laugh about it.
Now, one of the things that we do when we build strength, which we say strength is important, there's a lot of things that we don't do, right? Instead of deadlifting, we do sumo deadlifting. Instead of back squats and putting weight on people's spinal column, we actually do front curled squats or front squats. And this is all to build strength, but we also make sure that everybody in class is moving along or progressing at a slow pace. These guys probably hate me some of the times, but I have them do math. Like we stick to a 40, 50, 60%, and 90% of your 1 rep max, and they're sitting there with smoke coming out of their ears, figuring out the calculator. But has that, and either one of you can answer this, has that, do you feel, improved your overall strength?
You want to go first, Jen?
Sure. Definitely. And I just think it's the functionality of it all, that we're moving so that we can do everything else in our life, whatever, but yeah, I like instead of just doing strength or powerlifting or whatever some people are doing, it's like the hypertrophy part is fun. And every day is different. You've got us doing crazy things sometimes that we all shake our heads at, but yeah, just all the different movements that you're doing the same muscles, but something different.
Yep.
So.
And then MW, what about, because a big portion of our class, probably more so than most classes, deals with mobility and stability. That's how we start off each class. And I know that you've been dealing with a shoulder injury, but how has that helped your overall, posture, body composition, how you go about your day?
Oh, it's helped out a lot. I mean, I can squat down, pick things up without hurting. I can pick up my shoe and put it on while balancing it, putting on while standing on one foot. So that's, improved everything. And my shoulder, that, all your pre-stuff works out. It loosens it up. It's getting better every day. It's a slow process because I heard it bad before, and I didn't hurt it at the gym. It was just before I started, I ended up hurting it. And I feel I'm recovering probably quicker than I probably would have if I didn't do anything. And it probably would have stiffened up to limit my mobility. Now where I'm doing so much more mobility with it, it's probably going to end up being better than if I didn't go to the gym.
Now, we also incorporate, and you were just talking about this, unilateral work, balance. We've done things to where, you guys are balancing, moving a, kettlebell around your waist or while closing your eyes. Janice, how do you feel that has assisted you in everyday life?
Oh, core. core stability, core strength, totally. And I can remember when we first started, we did that. We stood on one foot and took off our shoe and sock and put it back on, just trying to maintain balance. And yeah, it is definitely posture, all those things.
Now, if somebody walked into the gym on a day when you guys were balancing on one foot with your eyes closed, I don't know if they'd be so apt to jump in and say, yeah, I want to join. And I know you both have done that.
Yeah, it'd be pretty funny if someone does come. Yeah, I mean, we know what's going on, but an outsider coming in for the first time, seeing that, not being instructed what you're trying to do and why you're doing it, would be pretty funny.
And if you told someone to do it and said, oh, you would just think you could do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Until you actually try doing it.
Exactly.
No.
And I think the biggest thing is when you say to everybody, all right, you're balancing, now close your eyes. And all of a sudden it's just completely off. And that has a lot to do with ankle mobility too.
Yeah. Or to know where to look to balance. Like you don't want to look up. You have to kind of look at the angle that you need to look at to maintain your balance too. You think you should be looking up where you could be looking, you got to pick your point.
Now, we also, so often, right, it's usually on a Saturday, we kind of alternate. The weather hasn't been cooperating with us, but we have actually done some strongman work, or what I like to call odd object conditioning, not to scare people off. And Mike, I know that you carried a yoke, which is about 185 pounds, probably around 50 feet total. How was that, like your first time doing that? Was that a little scary?
Yeah, it was. It's always interesting when you have something new, and definitely I start off light to see how it worked. I was doing the empty yoke first, and I made a couple of runs. I said, okay, let's just add some weight to it, see what I can do. And obviously you always help us out to do it the correct way. And I love the odd object carrying. That puts everything into everyday use, whether you're, for me, especially I'm trying to build a house, and I'm trying to build a stone wall. So I'm picking up boulders and making sure I'm picking them up the right way and not hurting my back. And yeah, I used to do that stuff years ago, and my back would hurt me, for 2 or 3 days afterwards when I was in my 30s and 40s. And now I'm almost 60, and I would have just a little pain at the end of the day, and the next day would be almost gone because my technique of working is better. And I wish I found this 20 years ago, because I would have way more better posture, and I wouldn't have hurt myself as much when I was younger.
Now, besides your hobby in shooting, and we did kind of touch on it a little bit, you are an alpaca fan. You have 2 of your own, correct?
Correct.
How did you, just to kind of add a little flair here, how did you get into that?
Well, I'm divorced now, but my ex-wife and I, we had a lot of animals when we grew up. We had horses. She liked horses, so we had a horse. We brought it to our yard. We had the horse for a long time. Then when he passed away, we ended up getting goats and miniature horses. And then when they were gone, we had a big open paddock in the yard, and we said, we got to put something in there. So we ended up getting alpacas. And she ended up using the fiber for spinning and everything on it. But they're a fun animal. They're like an outside dog that just stays outside. They're easy to take care of. Actually, I call them a cat, because you go up to them and they're going to want to walk away from you, but yet they're curious and they want to know what you're doing. And they're just all around fun pet.
That's awesome. And it's always, and we've posted a couple of funny videos of his alpacas on our Instagram where they had hay all over their heads. And so it was interesting. Janice, as somebody has been doing this for quite some time, what do you think are your favorite movements, and whether it was pre-surgery or post-surgery? What are something that, when you get to the gym, you're like, I love this. I love doing this. And I have a feeling what you're going to say.
Bench press.
No, that's wrong.
Deadlifts.
I thought you were going to say you like the Olympic cleans.
Oh, I do like those too, but I do like the cleans. I do like deadlift. I mean, bench press though.
Okay. Now, Michael, I know you haven't been doing this very long, but what are some of your favorite movements? And I'm going to write them down so we don't program them anymore.
I do like them all equally. I like I do like the odd object a lot. You know, that throws something unordinary into the lift instead of just a barbell. You know, knowing what you're going to grab and pick up and picking one of those bags up, a sandbag or anything like that that's going to move on you. That to me is the most challenging, because it's, like you say, odd object, and you got to balance. So it helps with the balance to try to make sure you balance yourself, because the thing is, whatever object it is, it's going to be trying to throw you off balance, and helps with me with my stability and the strength of how to pick it up.
Now, I know you mentioned quickly that you were talking about that you had tangible improvements in your shooting performance, your hobby, as a result of that training. What were some of those metrics again, like those tangible improvements that you had?
I'm able to hold the gun steadier, the rifle, and breathing techniques. You know, when the weightlifting, you have to breathe at a certain time and all that. I've transferred that over to the shooting, because every time you breathe, the gun moves. So you have to breathe at the right time and pause at the right time and shoot at the right time. It does get confusing because it's a little opposite from the gym. The gym, you're inhaling before you do anything. On rifle shooting, you basically exhale before you shoot, so you're not holding your breath.